Hey everybody, it's Sayre again. We got Sam this week over here working on building a wheel. Stepping over myself. Um, this one is a BSA Triumph conical hub on their dirt bikes, a 6-inch conical hub. This is off a Triumph TR25, which is basically a rebadged BSA, 250 single. What we're doing is putting on a 21-inch rim because this bike came with a This bike came with a 20-inch rim standard, something they tried for a couple of years as an effort to balance out the geometry between the front and the rear. And they abandoned it, and the tire companies never really picked up on it. So the problem is you have a slew of bikes from this era, the BSAs and Triumphs, that have a tire you just cannot buy anymore. So what we're doing is we're putting a 21 on, a much more common tire size, and this guy should be good to go. He can get tires whenever he wants now. This one has been particularly challenging because there's 4 different spoke angles on this one, and it doesn't go together with the 21-inch rim on it. It doesn't go together in the same pattern that the 20-inch rim is. So for all of you 2 people out there who may end up trying to relace one of these wheels in the future, the 21-inch rim is a different spoke setup. So just be very careful with it and proceed carefully and patiently. So a lot of people don't really know the difference between a spoke rim and a mag wheel or a cast wheel. So I'm going to go over that a little bit. This is a spoke wheel. It consists of spokes. These are the spokes. There's 40 of them on this. Most Japanese bikes use 36. Some smaller stuff uses 32. And some crazy customs use like 80, trying to show off. This was the original wheel style. You see old cars have them like this. They're built by hand like this. We literally put them together piece by piece, and we torque them up with a wrench, and we true them with a dial indicator to get them so they're straight this way and they're round this way. It's a laborious process, kind of tedious, but it's also really kind of fun when you get it right, really relaxing. The spoke wheels were taken over by cast wheels, often referred to as mag wheels. They're called mags because the first ones were actually made of magnesium. Very light. The main benefit of mag wheels was the lightness. The secondary benefit was the stiffness. They're a lot stiffer. These guys can kind of flex, and if you're cornering, there's a lot more just movement that can happen throughout the whole process. So if the mag wheels came about through racing. Peter Williams on an Arter matchless in the late 60s, legend of English bike riding and tuning. Him and Tom Arter. Was the Arter behind the Arter matchless, made an old single-cylinder matchless motorcycle keep up with Jacopo Agostini's 3-cylinder MV Agusta, way past its sell-by date. And they did it by doing stuff like designing mag wheels that could just make the bike handle. So they started to come over as a performance thing, and they kind of took over. They're also easier once you have them on there. You never really worry about them, other than maybe having them crack, which is something that's an issue with the magnesium ones, actual magnesium wheels, and some of the older performance aluminum ones can have that. But most of the production stuff isn't an issue with that. So another factor that comes around is tires themselves. A lot of people come to us and say, "Hey, I need a tire. I don't need an inner tube because my side of my tire says tubeless on it." And we say, "Do you have spoke wheels?" And they say, "Yeah, I got metal spokes on it." I said, "Then you need an inner tube." They say, "Oh, but it says tubeless on it." That's a misnomer. When it says tubeless, it just means that you can use it on a tubeless rim. But you cannot use a tubeless tire on a spoke rim, with the exception of a few certain things. But there are kits out there that allow you to convert these to hold air. But we don't recommend them. We've talked people out of them. Because they're a little sketchy. They basically just seal off the end of these, and then you throw air in it. But the main reason is that a tubeless rim, a proper tubeless rim, has an edge right here, where the edge of the tire sits, right up in this. It's called the bead. The bead of the tire sits in the bead of the rim, and there's a little edge on a tubeless rim that you'd have that actually holds the edge of the tire in place. If you don't have that and you have a low pressure situation on the tire, you don't check your air pressure, or you have a small hole or something like that, it's really easy for that tire to fall right off. So it's a safety thing. We don't do this to tires. We don't make spoked rims into tubeless stuff. It's just not a good idea. So I even have like my Moto Morini race bike, which we've talked about and I love dearly. That has cast wheels, but it needs inner tubes because it does not have the edge in the side. So it was a period where they were making cast wheels, but hadn't really fully gone into the tubeless world. So yeah, so interesting little things. You'll see, that what was going to say about it? The main benefit of the cast wheels, as I said, was lightness. But a lot of the stuff we see, a lot of the stuff we see that we work on, a lot of stuff maybe you guys are riding, 70s Japanese stuff, 80s Japanese stuff, before we get into the sport bikes, before we get into the VFRs and the Ninjas and the GSXRs, but just sort of the XS650s and the later CB750s, those kind of things. They'll have cast wheels, but those aren't very light. They were just made because they were cheaper to make, easier to do. They pretty much could take tubeless tires at that point. And they handled better, even though they were heavier. They had good stiffness for the really, really solid handling, and there's no maintenance involved on them. These ones, there actually is maintenance. If you ride a spoked rim and you've never had it trued or checked, go out and hit the spokes with a screwdriver to make sure that you don't have anything that sounds like that. That's loose. That's danger. This wheel is obviously not yet built yet, but yeah, a lot of the stuff you see in cast wheels is just ease of manufacturing. Trends take over. So yeah, that's about it. Yeah. Let's cut that one. All right, can we edit that? Lost my place for a minute, but anyway, that's about it. No, hold on. What am I saying about wheels now? These are spoke rims. Those are cast rims. Mags are called mags because of magnesium. And please keep watching and like and subscribe.